Welcome to Bo Eminent Channel. Rethinking consciousness in quantum physics is a fascinating and controversial topic that brings science and philosophy together. Here's a quick summary of key ideas. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel. 1. Quantum consciousness hypothesis suggests that consciousness may arise from or be influenced by quantum processes in the brain. Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff proposed the OR theory, orchestrated objective reduction, claiming microtubules in brain cells process quantum information. 2. Observer effect in quantum mechanics. Particles behave differently when observed, as shown in the double-slit experiment. Some interpret this to mean conscious observation collapses the wave function, linking consciousness and reality, but this is debated. 3. Quantum versus classical mind. Traditional neuroscience sees the brain as a classical system. Quantum theories suggest consciousness might not be fully explainable by classical physics. 4. Criticism. Many physicists argue that quantum effects are too delicate to exist in the warm, wet brain. Others believe quantum mechanics may describe consciousness more metaphorically than literally. For centuries, scientists and philosophers have tried to understand the mystery of consciousness. Most approaches have focused on the brain as a biological machine, assuming that thought and awareness emerge from chemical and electrical signals between neurons. This idea gained attention with the work of physicist Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff, who proposed that consciousness might arise from quantum processes inside brain cells. Their theory, known as orchestrated objective reduction, OR, suggests that these quantum interactions may give rise to self-awareness in ways that classical physics cannot explain. The theory draws strength from one of the most puzzling phenomena in quantum mechanics, the observer effect. In experiments like the double-slit experiment, particles such as electrons behave differently when observed, collapsing from a wave of possibilities into a single outcome. However, this idea is controversial. Many scientists argue that the brain is too noisy and warm for delicate quantum effects to survive. They believe consciousness can be fully explained by neurons, chemistry, and computation, without invoking quantum theory. Whether or not quantum physics directly explains consciousness, it has forced scientists to rethink the boundaries between mind and matter, and ask deeper questions. Is consciousness a basic feature of the universe? Could understanding it require new physics? Or are we simply stretching scientific ideas too far into philosophy? As scientists explored the building blocks of the universe, they stumbled upon something strange in the quantum world. Particles didn't behave predictably. Instead, they existed in multiple states at once, only choosing a state when observed. This gave rise to one of the greatest puzzles in physics, the measurement problem. Why does the act of observing a quantum system seem to change it? What exactly counts as an observer? This is where the human mind enters the story. Some thinkers began to wonder, could consciousness itself be the force that collapses the quantum wave function? If the universe behaves differently when it is observed, does that mean the observer, the conscious mind, is playing an active role in shaping reality? In ancient philosophies, consciousness was often seen as fundamental, even divine. Now, modern physics seems to circle back to similar ideas, not through religion, but through equations and experiments. This convergence inspired radical theories. Could consciousness and quantum physics be entangled in a deeper way than we thought? One theory, Penrose and Hameroff's OR, suggested that quantum information inside the brain might be responsible for our inner experience, our thoughts, feelings, and self-awareness. According to them, consciousness wasn't just an illusion produced by brain activity. It was a real process embedded in the fabric of the universe, governed by the same rules that control subatomic particles. But not everyone agreed. Critics argued that the brain is too chaotic for quantum states to survive. Others warned against mixing metaphysical ideas with hard science. And yet, despite the skepticism, the questions kept growing louder. What if consciousness isn't just a product of matter, but a fundamental part of reality, like space, time, and energy? What if the universe requires consciousness to exist, or evolve? Could this be why we observe order, beauty, and meaning in a world built on randomness? In the end, we are left with mystery. Science has given us incredible tools, but the nature of consciousness remains one of the deepest unknowns. Whether quantum physics holds the key, or whether the answer lies somewhere even stranger, is a question that continues to captivate minds across the world. As the debate unfolded, a new generation of thinkers began to bridge the gap between physics, neuroscience, and philosophy. They asked, what if consciousness isn't an accident of biology, but a feature of the universe itself, like gravity or light? This idea, once dismissed as mystical, gained new life under a modern name, panpsychism, the view that even the tiniest pieces of matter may possess a form of consciousness, or at least the potential for it. In this view, an electron doesn't think or feel like we do, but it might contain a primitive seed of awareness. As atoms combine into molecules, molecules into cells, and cells into brains, consciousness evolves in complexity, eventually blooming into what humans experience as self-awareness. This idea might sound far-fetched, but some scientists see it as a way to solve the hard problem of consciousness: how physical processes in the brain give rise to subjective experience. At the same time, spiritual traditions, from Hinduism to Buddhism, have long claimed that consciousness is not just inside us, but everywhere, part of the eternal flow of existence. Astonishingly, these ancient views now echo in the corridors of modern physics. Some physicists have even suggested that the universe may behave like a vast quantum computer, with information flowing through space-time, giving rise to both matter and mind. If that's true, then perhaps our minds are not isolated in our skulls, but connected to a deeper field of awareness, a cosmic web where every thought, every observation, helps shape reality. In such a universe, consciousness is not an afterthought. It is the beginning and the end. Until then, we keep wondering, and in our wondering, we may already be part of something greater than we can imagine.